of Condition Nerdcast. Today we are super excited to talk about Caverna and the movie that just came out, Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit.
Shadow Recruit.
But Caverna first. We don't want to give any spoilers away before we get too far into it. Caverna is a worker placement board game.
Right, it's from the makers of Agricola.
Yes, which is a little bit hard to find at the moment. We got a little lucky.
Well, paying like $20 more than the suggested retail price. But yes, we got it on Amazon. For some reason, they had it as a Prime deal, and we were able to get it. It's still pretty difficult to get it. Cool Stuff Inc. I believe still sold out.
So we felt pretty special that we got it early. Or not early, but just ahead of a lot of people who are really excited to get it. So we got it this week, and I had our first chance. I dove into it earlier this weekend, but we've now both had a chance to play it.
Right. I actually surprisingly really like it. So, as you know, I am not the biggest fan of Agricola.
No, you are not the biggest fan of Agricola, whereas Agricola is probably one of my favorite games.
Right.
It ranks in my top 5, absolutely.
Wow.
And it might not anymore.
Wow. Yeah, you and Tom Vassell, BFFs forever.
Forever.
My problem with Agricola is you have to build fences around to keep the animals, which I'm fine with that.
It's kind of part of the worker placement.
No, I get that. But my problem with it is you have to build one fence at a time. Like, that was a little too tedious for me to get into.
And you didn't like that you were always scrambling for food.
Right, you're always scrambling for food. And if you don't have food, there's a penalty at the end of the game.
Yeah.
For me, it was a little too tedious for certain things, and it prevented you from really enjoying the game. Because just when you're like, oh, I'm going to do this really cool thing in the next round, oh, I can't because I haven't completed the fence in my field.
Yeah, that's a problem. But
you played it in solo, right? You played Agricola in solo.
I did.
And you enjoyed it.
I played Agricola in solo several times.
Right.
And I really liked it in solo play. It's a mental task. It's about how you strategize the whole game. I feel like Agricola is great for people who have played it a couple times, who sort of know the flow of the game, even though there's a little bit of randomization as to what card is going to come up for which round. But I think once you've played it a couple times, you get a better feeling for how the game works, and therefore you can plan better, and you can have food, and you can have stables for your animals. And
But my question is, you've played Agricola, with 2 people, and you've played it by yourself. Mm-hmm. You've never played it with more than 2, which I feel like it'd be too long of a game. But which do you prefer? Also, let's forget the fact that I am horrible at Agricola. But do you find that you enjoy it more from solo than you would with multiplayer?
They present different challenges. Multiplayer, your plan can get screwed over very quickly, whereas in single player, you're playing against how well you can balance your resources. Right. They're very different. They're very different for the same game.
Yes. But once again, when you're playing with 2 or more, if you miss a step, you're not going to win. It's all over. Yes.
Yeah.
But with Caverna, which I just played today, and it was your third play, you played 2 solo games.
I played 2 solo games yesterday, and today was my first 2-person playthrough.
Right. How did that game go, by the way?
You're very funny. I felt very smart going into my 3rd game.
You came a little cocky. You're like, I played 2 games already. I scored this and I scored that. And
it was my first game with more than 1 player, and adding another player into it adds an element of potential disaster. Because people take the things that you need to get done. So that was something I had not mentally prepared for, and it ended up making me lose.
Well, it was just...
If you know me, I don't lose to him.
That
ever.
is true. That is true.
So you have one up on me at the moment. We will see how it goes next time.
Because I won in Caverna, it is now one of my favorite games. But
I think you would have liked it anyway.
I think I would have liked it anyway. But it was great. Like, I felt like I didn't really have a strategy, which sounds like me, when it comes to board games. I didn't have a strategy right away. I would say about a third into the game is when I realized, oh wait, I can kind of purchase this and maybe add this on and that. And once again, going back to Agricola, if a third into the game, if you then come up with some kind of strategy, it's over.
Yeah, the game.
You kind of have to know what you're going to... So I don't think Agricola is, for me, a really good game to bring to new people. Like, hey, maybe they should play by themselves first before they get into...
I mean, there are things in Agricola that you don't have in Caverna. So in Agricola, you have occupation cards and things that add a little bit of spontaneity. I don't know if that's the word, but add a little something to the game that make it different. In Caverna, you don't have cards. Everything is...
I don't have to build individual fences.
No, you don't have to build individual fences.
It's just pay this amount of wood and you have a completed fenced-in area.
Correct.
I really enjoyed that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, yeah, I think that Caverna is definitely going to outrank Agricola in my mind from now on.
Yes.
But we'll see.
Well, you'll probably still play Agricola solo play.
Yeah, I think there's different things you can get out of both of them. I'm not going to throw Agricola away, that's for sure. But Caverna is really nice, and it is definitely Agricola 2.0, which if you've been on the internet and have paid any attention to Caverna, that's pretty much what everyone is saying. And I will fully agree that it is Agricola 2.0.
They made all the right improvements.
Correct.
From Agricola.
Correct.
And I could not be happier. Because I wanted to like Agricola. I really did want to like it. I just couldn't. But this one, besides winning, I really enjoyed it. And I felt it was the tip of the iceberg. There were so many more options there. The game will change, I don't want to say dramatically, but enough with just adding one more person. There were so many more options.
So the thing with Caverna is that you can play any number between 1 and 7 players, and depending on the number of players, you get a different options for where you can place your workers. In a 1-player game, you get the fewest number. In a 7-player, you get the most. And some of those options we will never see. And we play it as a 2-player. Unless we have 7 people come over, we'll never see those options. And the likelihood of having 7 people over to play this is on the slim side.
Right. But I feel like it would be kind of long with 7 people.
Yeah, it would take the whole afternoon.
Right. And I feel like that's another thing. Like, I enjoyed the game. It is a rather pricey board game.
Yes.
Because of the ridiculous amount of components that you get with it.
They're really nice, though.
They are.
They're really nice.
I would have preferred they made it a 1 to 4 player game and then sold an expansion.
Sort of like how Settlers of Catan does.
Sell the expansion and make it, 5, 6, and 7 player. Yeah. That would have been nicer.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I can't understand... I can't guess what their rationale was for making it immediately a 7-player game, because I don't think you would ever want to expand it beyond a 7-player game.
No.
But
I would have said, why would you expand it beyond a 4 or even 5-player game?
Right. So
But it's worth it. That one day
penny.
will come where we will have 7 people and we'll say,
hey,
really
want to play it.
Let's play Caverna, and 5 of them will say, what's Caverna? And then we'll have to explain them.
We'll teach
them. And then it'll be too late to play a 7-player game of Caverna.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So with Caverna, you're going to do a playthrough, right?
We're going to do a playthrough, the 2 of us, and then I'm also going to do a sort of side-by-side comparison of how the solo gameplay works with Caverna versus Agricola, because they both are single player games if you want them to be, and I know a lot of the time it's hard to find people to play games, so when you do have a solo option, it can be really fun, and I have played both of these as solo, and they have been really fun so far. So I think it'd be interesting just to show you guys side by side what sort of pros and cons of those two options are. So yeah.
All right. So should we talk about our next?
Sure. So let's change topics abruptly. This week last night we went to go see Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit, which just came out on Friday.
Right.
It is based on characters by Tom Clancy.
Right. Exciting. So I don't. What do we want to say? Spoilers now?
Yeah, spoilers. We're gonna
like now, like really 3, 2, 1 spoilers.
We haven't talked about it yet.
We have right after the movie ended, literally the credits rolled. I leaned over and said, "We are not talking about this movie until we do this recording." So I don't know how she feels about the movie, and she has no idea how I feel about the movie. So I'm just curious now, before we get into more detail, on a rating of 1 through 10, right? On a count of 3, what would you give it? Okay? 1, 2, 3, 5.
6.5.
Wow, 6.5. That is really high.
Really?
Really high.
I thought it was a... okay, so first of all, I didn't realize this till the end of the film. The film is directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Okay.
Who also stars in it. And that left me with a different taste in my mouth than I think I would have if the director had been a no-name nothing. Because I suddenly understood what he was trying to do. Because he
what
is
was
Kenneth
he trying
Branagh.
to do?
He is Kenneth Branagh.
So
this
what?
Is, I mean, how many like sophomore year English classes watched Hamlet with Kenneth Branagh? It's Kenneth Branagh. So he stars in the movie as a Russian, and he speaks very bad Russian in the movie. But he did direct it, and it let me... So it's billed as an action movie. I would not say that it is a full-fledged action movie. It is a spy thriller. Yes. There is not...
How is he a super soldier analyst? Like, that was just utterly ridiculous.
The two main characters in the movie are Chris Pine, who plays Jack Ryan, and Keira Knightley, who plays an American, which we can get to that in a minute. Chris Pine is
so disappointing in this movie.
You know, when you have Captain Kirk, I'm assuming that he's going to be like action, and they bill him as an analyst who was also a Marine, and there's this whole backstory with him.
So I can get he's a Marine. Yes, he has some fighting ability, he can take care of himself, but now correct me if I'm wrong. So 9/11 takes place, tragic day. Obviously he saw this and he decided to enlist into the Marines. I get that, fine. Then it seems maybe a year or two goes by, right? And there's an accident, he ends up messing himself up. His back is broken for the most part, yes. And then it takes a few years before he's able to walk again.
Yeah, they said it was a year. It was
right.
a year.
Right.
They fixed him up. He got better, and then he was recruited by the CIA to be a financial analyst, because before he became a Marine, he was studying for his doctorate. He was writing his thesis in
Where's
London.
the super soldier? I'm trying to figure out where the super soldier training took place.
The super soldier training was his Marine training.
Okay, fine. But once again, it didn't seem like he was in the Marines that long to become a super soldier.
He wasn't ever billed as a super soldier.
But then how do you take this Marine, turn him into an analyst for years? 10
years.
He was sitting behind a desk.
10 years, yes.
And 10 years sitting behind a desk. And now he's doing all these action moves and just a little ridiculous.
I thought they did a very good job of having him be very flustered when the attempt on his life happens.
Okay.
So
I agree with that.
He was very flustered, and I think part of it was a fight or flight reflex.
It was a very well acted 10 minutes. After that,
I really thought that the scene where he kills the guy in the bathroom.
yeah, sure, that was a great scene.
And you
10
can
minutes.
see him just like shaken.
For
after
10
it.
minutes, I was nervous for him.
And you didn't think that he makes a telephone call. He doesn't remember where the location is that he's supposed to go. He did. I thought they set it all up very well. He walks to the park. He thinks he's being followed. He's freaking out the whole time. He breaks protocol. She talks to him.
But he's a super soldier.
He's not a super soldier. They don't ever bill him as a super soldier. I don't know where you got the super soldier.
I don't know.
He's not a super soldier.
When he runs towards a van with a lead pipe or whatever he had to smash the window.
That was because his wife was in the
Okay, well, this is what I mean.
I would hope that you would do that. Excuse me, if I had been captured by the villain and he was going to kill me, would you smash in a window with a lead pipe?
That car was going like 50 miles an hour. How am I going to catch up?
He knew where the van was, the car
And
was
why
gonna
does
be.
he know this? Because he's a super soldier.
No, because they told him in his headpiece. They went,
But he's able
gonna
to
be
run.
on the corner right there.
And he's able to run. A man who broke his back.
They show him running a lot.
Okay, so
They show him running,
he sprints,
jogging, running.
jumps in the air with a pipe. Nothing happens to him. He smashes the window in the moving car. He's perfectly okay, right? Because he's got this.
I think that would be the only,
What about Keira Knightley?
Okay.
Okay, she's a doctor
She's a doctor.
who all of a sudden became a super spy.
She didn't have to do anything. She just sat there and chatted with
That
the
was a
dude.
little too
She sat
well
there-
acting for someone who
She
knows
sat there
that
and
she's
chatted with
a
Kenneth
terrorist.
Branagh.
What she believed is a serious terrorist,
Yes.
and she played it off extremely well.
Well, she was doing what she was supposed to do.
Come on! No way. No, she just literally found out that her husband, not even her husband,
Her fiance.
her fiance is in the CIA,
Yes.
and he's a spy. She found out
10 minutes earlier.
10 minutes ago!
Yes.
And she's calm, cool, and collective, sitting with terrorists, flirting with him, and they're acting, she's playing off of her fiance. It was a little ridiculous.
Okay.
I get ridiculous movies.
The only ridiculous thing that I thought was that she did a very good American accent, although the whole time I was just sitting there going, excuse me, this is Keira Knightley. She's in Pride and Prejudice and speaks with a British accent and does Dior commercials. I don't understand what's going on here.
Right.
I guess it was a stretch for her to try to do a part where she spoke in an English accent. I mean, an American accent rather than in her British accent. The moment that it got me the most was when she was sitting with Kenneth Branagh being an American while he was being a Russian, and all I could think was, well, they're both British, aren't they? Because Kenneth Branagh's Russian accent is
Right.
Keira Knightley's American accent was pretty good.
Yeah,
I just couldn't handle it because I
did not enjoy this movie.
Wow. All right, straight up. That's
Yeah.
how that goes.
Bad movie.
It was billed as an action movie. It should not have been billed as an action movie.
I don't know how you would have built that movie at all. I wait for it to come on cable. Don't even go to the movies, in my opinion. Not worth it.
Alright.
And we went to see it in IMAX. Which...
Okay. Well, now you know his opinion. Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, it was good to get out, to go to movies, but...
I thought it was enjoyable. I thought the plot was feasible. A terrorist attack on America.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine, yes.
As a
They would do a terrorist attack and then bankrupt the country.
Yes.
Yes.
All of that was totally feasible.
It looked great on paper.
I thought it was pretty good.
All right.
I wouldn't say go see it in IMAX, but yeah, if you're in for a thriller, not an action movie, but a thriller, like a espionage movie, this was a good one.
All right.
Regular movies, Or maybe wait till it goes to like the dollar movies.
Catch the matinee.
Catch the matinee.
I don't think dollar movies exist anymore.
They do in some places.
Oh, well, not in New York.
Yes, but definitely catch a matinee.
Right.
It was fun.
Right.
A fun popcorn flick.
Matinee. All right, well, that's going to be it for today. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for listening.